Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to write the article, sort of a general approach, and then below this section, there are two template article videos that explain exactly how to write a specific type of article. But this is a general approach that should apply to almost all of the articles. So when you get an article, you'll get the title or keyword and topic. So for example, you might get an article for best way to learn the guitar. The word length is also given. The word length is always approximate. If the article is finished at 800 words, then you don't want to add 200 words, but if you need to bump it up to 1500 words, by all means. These word lengths are only approximate, and I would say 1,000 is going to be sort of the minimum for these articles. And then you'll get the product which the article should promote. So best way to learn the guitar, obviously we're going to promote online guitar lessons. If you discover that, say, there's 3 ways that are important when learning the guitar, obviously you can change the title to the 3 best ways to learn the guitar. So depending on your research, all the titles can be used and changed, and that's totally up to you. The best way to teach yourself guitar could certainly be changed to the top 5 ways to teach yourself guitar. The best book for learning the guitar, the 15 best books for learning the guitar. Classical guitar songs for beginners, the 3 classical guitar songs every beginner must learn. So the point is, when you research an article and you write it, don't let the title or the theme restrict anything that you find. So, moving on to exactly how to write these articles. This is going to be the format for almost all the articles. So, here I've got an example of a good article and then an example of a bad one. So, if you click this link, it'll open a new tab here, and basically these articles should be written exactly how this particular article is written. So this is a SEO copywriting article. So if you just ignore the content here and just pretend that it's relating to the guitar, here's a good example of the format and the flow of how these articles should be written. Now, I'm not going to go through this article entirely here on the video, but it actually flows really nicely and it contains a lot of points that you can actually use when writing the articles and doing your research. So I'm not going to go through them all, but I'll leave that link up here, and this is a great format to follow, and the content in this article is actually, some of it is very useful. Some of it doesn't apply, but some of it can be very useful for you writing your articles. Now, a bad article would be this one. And I'm going to dissect this and tell you exactly why it's bad, but 4 easy steps of writing your first guitar song, and you've got 3 big chunks of paragraph there and so forth. So, diving right in to analyzing this. When you're writing this, you must adopt numbers 2, 9, and 11. And here, if you click this, we've got a checklist here. So numbers 2, 9, and 11 must be adopted. The other ones are very useful that you could certainly use with your own writing as well. But number 2 here are called bucket brigades. So these words, terms, and phrases, whenever you need to get some people engaged. So within the content, you'll have things like, here's the deal, paragraph space, what's the bottom line, but here's the kicker, or this is crazy, and things like that. So using these within the content really helps the flow. So that's important to use. Number 9, and I'm going to get into more details about this, but using benefits with your subheadlines, and I'm going to discuss this in more detail below. And number 11, called the APP formula. So this content here, this PDF, certainly take this and use it for your own writing. It's very good. It has some great information. And the main thing here that all the articles will use is called the APP formula for the intro. So it stands for agree, promise, preview. So 4 steps to writing your first song on the guitar. So we're going to run through how to set these up with this example. 4 easy steps. So basically changing how this article is written to the way we want to write it. So the first thing that we're going to do, if we were to have this as an article topic, we're going to apply this APP formula. So agree, promise, preview. So what can we agree with when someone's searching for, easy steps for writing your first song, or simple things that I must do when I write my first song? We want to agree with them right away. What can you agree with? Well, songwriting is hard. So this would be a good agree statement for this intro. Songwriting is hard. Every songwriter has done it. You're staring at a blank sheet of paper trying to come up with your very first song on the guitar. Do I start with the lyrics? Do I start with some chords? Have you done this before? Trust me, we've all been there. I know it seems really hard. This is a great agree statement. It's a little long, but it agrees with someone who's come to that blog post and is reading that. So we've agreed. Next thing, we're going to promise. So the promise is where you give them a peek into a better world. But it doesn't have to be if you follow some basic steps provided by master songwriters. And once you get one song under your belt, you can really start to create your own unique style to make you stand out from the crowd. So here we're making a promise to them. Songwriting is hard. We agreed with them here that songwriting is hard. But now we're going to promise it doesn't have to be that way if you follow some basic steps. So that's the promise. The preview comes next. Just tell them exactly what you have in store for them. I found 4 super easy steps that every songwriter must follow, but I also have some other cool recommendations for taking it to the next level in terms of writing and playing. So that's exactly what the article has, 4 super easy steps. So that's the preview. So agree, a statement that they can agree with, promise, a statement that you're promising, and a preview. So if we were to compare these two and you just read them or just even look at them, a lot of people will come here and they'll see these 3 big chunks of writing and they'll just click away or they'll scroll down, and it's certainly not something that's very readable. Whereas here we've separated it into smaller sentences. We could include some bucket brigades, and we've got that APP formula. So agree, every songwriter has done it. You're staring at a blank sheet of paper trying to come up with your very first song. Blah, 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 blah. It's very hard. Yes, it's very hard. But trust me, we've all been there. But it doesn't have to be this way. Follow some basic steps provided by song masters, and once you get one song under your belt. So there's the promise. It doesn't have to be so hard. Preview. I've found 4 super easy steps every songwriter must follow. So that is the formula that all articles should follow for the introduction. Agree, promise, preview. So an important note. Remember, with most of these articles, we are pre-selling something, or we're selling whether it's a piece of equipment or an online guitar lesson trial. So if we wrote this article, it would probably be because we want to sell either a course on songwriting or we want to sell a course on the guitar. So you want to include this if you can in the promise and the preview. So looking back to the promise, this was what we wrote, but it doesn't have to be so hard if you follow some basic steps provided by song masters, by master songwriters. So at the end of the article, we'd obviously introduce them to a course about master songwriters. If we looked at the preview, I found 4 super easy steps that every songwriter must follow, but I also have some other cool recommendations for taking it to the next level. So at the end of this article, or the last step of these 4 super easy steps, we would recommend learning about, a product to take their skills to the next level, whether a guitar course or something like that. So there you have it. And I think I'm going to just run through one other example. In the past, we've explained this and people haven't quite mastered it. You want to keep it brief, but we want to always include this in our blog introductories. Agree, promise, preview. So I'll just go through one last example and then we can move on. So if you had a title, the best practice routines for guitar players, here would be what we'd be given, 1,000 words, and we want to promote online guitar lessons. So what's something that they can agree with? Here's an introduction. Practice makes perfect. You've probably heard that 1,000 times, right? This is the agree part. You've probably heard that 1,000 times before, right? That's something that someone reads and they agree with. But what if I told you that there are certain things you can add into your guitar practice routines that make them super effective and way more fun? This is the promise. Peek into a better world. Make them super effective and fun. So that is the promise. It peeks into a better world for the reader. Next, here I want to highlight 6 things that every practice routine absolutely needs, and even highlight some guitar lessons which will make you much more consistent because they make practicing extremely fun. Making practicing fun, I think we have a winner. Here is the preview, exactly what they get. 6 things your routine needs. So again, are we pre-selling and mentioning online guitar lessons? Yep, we are right here. But what if I told you there are certain things you can add into your guitar practice routines to make them super effective and fun? And here I want to highlight 6 things that every practice routine absolutely needs, and even highlight some guitar lessons which will make you much more consistent. So right there we have sort of introduced whatever we're selling in this article in this introduction. So that's the APP formula. I think I went over it quite enough there. If you need some more information on this or you don't quite get it, certainly we can give you some more examples, but we agree, we promise, we preview. This checklist is certainly something to follow and use. It's a great example. And then here, this copywriting page, this is an excellent article to follow. Right there, they use the APP exactly. If you read this introduction, they use it right away. They agree, they promise, they preview, and it also has tons of good information about how to write really good articles. So apart from it being about SEO, you can relate it to the guitar, and it's a great resource. So below, we're going to talk about some other sections as well.